So that obviously made the whole experience like so
Did
lovely.
you go to a Tommy Hilfiger party?
Okay, if we're name dropping, I'm going
I'm name dropping for you. Can we get him on the podcast?
No, that is definitely my biggest claim to fame, that I met him. I have a photo with him. The photo was horrendous. I had to put it in black and white. But I was like, there is no way I'm not sharing
Black and
this.
white saves everything.
Hi guys, and welcome back to the Coffee Shop Podcast with Sophie
And Elise. Can't believe we're on episode 6 already.
Episode 6. And
It's
dare
so
we
quick.
say that episode 5 went out a bit smoother than
Yes.
episode 4 did.
I actually quite liked it. I feel
Yeah.
like the sun was hitting me right in the face, but it was
It was a nice summer vibe, wasn't it?
I always think it's never ever sunny, and then the one time we come to record a podcast,
Yeah.
it's beaming.
To be fair, today's the cloudiest day, really, that we've done it in a while, isn't
yeah,
it?
it is.
We're quite here for it, the cosy vibes.
I'm praying that it's only going to get sunnier though. Fingers
Mm.
crossed. I knew as well when I walked through that door and you were wearing your little brown suit, I was like, as if this has happened.
And the funny thing was, I was going to message you this morning being like, I think I'm going to go for the brown blazer today. And this is the first week we haven't like liaised.
I know.
We're getting too comfortable with it.
Literally, it's like we're in sync.
It really is.
We're synchronized. Should we start off with our first topic?
Absolutely. Let's go. Episode 6.
So we're going to do this episode on building confidence and leadership skills.
That took you a second.
I know, it took me a second
Did
because
you decide halfway through that you don't want to talk about that anymore?
I was thinking, are we really doing that as a topic? Is it too late to change our minds? Yeah, but I thought if we do this, it might
Yes.
be relatable to some people just starting out, how to build confidence. Obviously, we're nowhere near the most confident people in the world, but
No.
We
And
have
something we both
progressed.
struggled with a little bit. I mean,
yeah,
I do feel like for me as a topic, it's really, really ongoing. So we just thought it's the whole reason we wanted to do the podcast, wasn't it?
yes.
Things that we've come across and that have sort of been like a bit of a hurdle or a bit of an obstacle,
yeah,
we want to highlight because it might help someone.
hopefully it will.
So yeah, shall we just get straight into it then?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay then. Put it all on me.
I'm like, go for it. Take it away.
Take it away, so I'll just sit quietly. No, so I think the first thing really is, for me, definitely, obviously, when I took on the coffee shop, I knew that in time, when money would allow, really, I was going to need a team because obviously it's not a one-woman show. There's a nice, lovely team behind me.
Yeah,
And just the first thing really that I struggled with was sort of that balance between, well, I'd never been a boss before. I'd never even really been like a leader before. And I was very, very cautious. I was like, I don't want to be this like bitch of a person that's like really bossy and horrible and this and that. And I think I just struggled with sort of not like being so worried that I was going to come across like that almost my attitude was, well, I'm going to be as laid back and as chilled out.
like a friend more than a boss.
Exactly. It's definitely something I'm learning with, and I say this all the time, but I'm totally just learning on the job, really. Like literally, I said to you earlier, didn't I? Last night, I had my first ever official staff meeting, and I just think slowly, as obviously I get a bit more confident with the coffee shop, and I've been doing it a little bit longer, I just find my feet more and more with it every day, and I know you're the same with yours. Like the more we do it, the more I feel like I find my feet.
It's even like with this, isn't it, really?
It is, absolutely.
Every week, I mean, we're coming on and we're setting it up, and it took us hours before.
Well, we had like, failed attempts how many times?
Yeah, and with everything, it just comes in time.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, that's it. And I think, like, gosh, I look back to the like first employee. I don't know how that ended up that I hired, but even just like my attitude. Yeah, literally. Like how my attitude has changed since then, like how my confidence has grown.
Yeah.
I'm a lot more, I stand on my own 2 feet a little bit, not ballsy, I don't think that's the right word, but I'm just a bit more confident with it, to be honest. And now I feel like I know the sort of qualities that I like to look for in people that maybe want to come on and join the team and things like that. So it's definitely been a process, the whole hiring and things like that. But I think as time goes on, I'm definitely growing a little bit more confident and growing my leadership skills, I guess.
Yeah, you can tell as well, like you've obviously had a lot of experience outside of the coffee shop. Whereas obviously I went straight into doing business.
Yeah.
Whereas you have obviously you went to New York, like she's a New York girl. You got to experience other things.
Absolutely, yeah. So I think when we sort of mention like building your confidence and things, probably the biggest thing I would say in my whole life was doing my internship in New York. I think it was really, for me, as cliche as it is, like
I was so jealous.
I was living my best gossip girl life now.
Yeah.
But for me, that was a really like prominent point in like growing, I think. And it sounds so cliche, it really does. But at the end of the day, I was young and I was living in the middle of New York by myself.
How did you feel when you were actually getting on that plane, thinking, wow, I'm actually going on my own?
It didn't feel real, I wouldn't say at first. I think to be honest, the scariest point was actually starting the internship and like going to the offices for the first time.
Yeah.
And I mean, I had the best experience. Like I met the nicest people. I worked for the nicest people, like who I still keep in touch with now. So that obviously made the whole experience like so lovely.
Did you go to a Tommy Hilfiger party?
Okay, if we're name dropping, I'm
name dropping for you. Can we get him on the podcast?
No, that is definitely my biggest claim to fame, that I met him. I have a photo with him. The photo was horrendous. I had to put it in black and white. But I was like, there is no way I'm not sharing
Black and
this.
white saves everything.
No, but the magazine was quite like established.
Yeah.
Like basically they had I think she's called like D. Okalepo Hilfiger. I don't want to say that wrong. But basically D. Hilfiger, so Tommy Hilfiger's wife, was on their front cover of the issue that was just going out as I was starting. And basically they used to do like a big cover party for obviously every cover they did.
Yeah.
And it was like seasonal. So they did 4 issues a year. They obviously did like spring or summer, you know how it is. And yeah, so I felt really, really lucky that when I was there, she was the cover. So she was like the cover star. So I remember we were setting up this big party and the other girls at the magazine were a bit like, you know, imagine if like Gigi Hadid comes, because this was the time when like Gigi was one of the Tommy girls, and you know and I was like, oh my god, then that means like Kendall Jenner might come, and I knew that like
I'm gonna be best friends with Kendall
really
Jenner.
good friends with Kris Jenner, so I was like, imagine like I've been in New York for 4 days.
Anything can happen.
But no, I think like that definitely that whole experience was the biggest growth experience really I think I probably ever had, and I think I didn't have any other choice than just to, even if I wasn't, just to pretend that I was confident and that I was okay and I wasn't so scared inside.
I feel like we say this all the time as well, the whole fake it till you make it.
Oh God, yeah.
I feel like that's something I've always struggled with when I tell people that I am someone who struggles with anxiety, because on the outside I can be so confident, and if I do meet people, well, it depends actually, because sometimes I have this thing, if I see somebody in Tesco's or whatever, I go bright red. I can't help it. And I'll know them, but you know when you just kind of know them.
Yeah.
And I cannot help it, and my face just goes fully red. And I'm like, why are you going red for?
Yeah, why
and it's like this person who I want to be and the person I am, and I'm like forcing myself.
Yeah.
It's crazy, but I don't know. I just feel like I have to put on this mask kind of thing to be like, no, you can do it. You can
like
get over
if you
it,
almost tell yourself that you can do it, it's like hopefully that will take over and you'll just be like, no, it's fine.
I feel like it does over time. Like you obviously saying you've gone to New York and you've been there in this situation in a room full of people that are like, oh, you must have been young as well.
Yeah, well, it was as soon as we finished uni. So what were we? 21.
And you'll have just been telling yourself, like,
yeah,
right, you're meant to be here.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
fine.
And like I was this small British girl. And it is so true that everyone would literally be like, oh, she's British.
Yeah.
You've got a lovely British accent and all this.
No, because you are the most British. Like, you know, on the American films, when people put on a British accent, you're
like
that
is how
track. Yeah. That's how you talk. If it was me, they'd be like, what language is she speaking?
Do you know what's really funny? I remember both of my sisters came out and visited for like a few days when I was there, and we went out for tea one night, and literally we went into this restaurant and I was like, oh yeah, like a table for 5 or whatever, and the girls literally took the mick out of me all night. They were literally like, Sophie, you put on an American accent. So there I was acting American. And I was going, girls, I've been living here by myself, you have to blend in.
Imagine me, I'd come back fully blown. Full blown American.
Ginny and Georgia over here.
Literally.
But no, yeah, that's it. I think you're exactly right. Like that was a prime example of a fake it till you make it sort of thing. Like even this sounds so stupid, but even just like walking to the office on a morning and getting on the subway there, like
I can imagine
you
you
just
with your
try to blend
earphones.
in. Yeah, like you just sit next to someone and you act like this is normal to me.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't normal to me. I was having like an out of body experience every single day.
Yeah.
But inside, like that was inside. I was just pretending on the outside, like, this is fine. This is really normal and it's all going to be fine.
I could,
but
I'd be so
in a way,
nervous.
like, yeah, it just, I didn't have any other choice.
How did you make friends with other people?
I mean, I didn't make that many friends. I made friends with the people I worked with.
Yeah.
So if I really ever did anything with other people, it was with the people I worked with, which was really, really lovely. Like we went to like ice hockey games, like, and I went with them.
So American.
Yeah, it was so American.
I love
it kills me. And like I was actually there for Thanksgiving, and one of the girls who I worked with, well, she was there doing an internship as well. She was actually at the Fashion Institute, I think it's like called FIT or something.
Yeah.
Like one of the fashion, it's like the biggest fashion college, I think, actually. And she was there, so she was like doing 1 day a week at the magazine, obviously, whereas I was there every day. And she said to me, her family lived over on Staten Island, so literally just over from Manhattan. And she was like, come, like, do you want to come to my family's for Thanksgiving?
How lovely is that?
Yeah, like it was amazing. I was like, I can't believe I'm actually going to experience like an American
Was it
Thanksgiving.
amazing?
Oh yeah, it was full on like the pies and the big tray. Like, exactly what you think would be like, it was like, and I was loving it. I was loving every minute.
Is it like the yellow school buses?
Yeah,
like what you see on TV.
I was just taking it all in. And now I just look back and I think, again, it's so cliche, but it probably was
one of the best experiences.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll never do anything like that again.
What made you... So,
I feel like I'm in an interview.
Sorry, I'm just...
People are going to be like, Sophie, you've really overtalked this
episode. I love hearing about it though. What made you go from that to the coffee shop? Like being there, did it not make you want to go into journalism and work for a magazine?
Do you know what? The biggest thing everyone said to me when I came home was, do you not wish you stayed? And I don't think I do. Because I absolutely loved it, but I think I loved it so much. I am, and I think I loved it so much because I knew it wasn't forever.
Yeah.
So I think I was there and I was just like, Sophie, just make the most of every single moment because this isn't for a long time.
Like you're not going to be able to afford to go out every...
No, I wasn't even getting paid for this internship, so I wasn't making a penny. So it wasn't realistic. And at the end of the day, like if I had gone over there and I'd taken on a proper job, I wouldn't have been living where I was living. I wouldn't have been doing all the things. Like every weekend where just by myself, I'd be like, right, what am I going to try and tick off the list this weekend?
Yeah.
Or what am I going to go and
like
see?
a New York bucket list.
Yeah, and that's not reality on a weekend if you're living in the middle of Manhattan. Like, it's just not. So yeah, I always say like it was the best experience of my life, but I think that was because I was only there for a short amount of time.
I was just living through your Instagram, your stories.
Yeah, but you're also like you go to all these amazing places and see the amazing places. Like, you've been to Bali.
I wouldn't dare go on my own though. I'd be scared.
You say this. I think you're a lot braver than you actually realise. Like you've started the little events.
Is that like Winnie the Pooh quote? You're braver than you think.
Not like us to mention another quote, is it?
I know, but I always feel like I like to have a bit of comfort behind me of like if something goes wrong. I don't know, like
no, but I am like that though. I really am.
If you were in New York, you'd be like, "Oh my goodness, what?"
But absolutely, you are so right. But at the end of the day, like 5 o'clock would come and I'd be on the phone to my mum every single day. And
I always think this, but it's only a flight. Worst case, you just get on a flight.
And I was in a really fortunate position that, like I said, both my sisters came to see me. My mum and dad came over. My auntie came over with my mum and dad. Like, I wasn't. I was by myself. Ben came over. Like, it was daunting, but I knew they were coming. So I sort of like, I'd set it in my mind that, right, so maybe you've got 5 weeks by yourself, but then you've got 3 days where the girls are coming over, and then you've got 3 weeks, and then your mum and dad are coming, And it was like, I was so cautious that I knew it wasn't forever, and I'd probably never experience it again, that I was like, them 5 weeks, just don't waste a moment. Like I said, I would just go off and I'd just do something by myself, because I was like, Sophie, you're in New York, like, do it.
When else are you going to have that chance?
So now when I look back, I just think, I can't believe I did it really, but it brought my confidence and stuff on so much. But back to your actual original question, I don't know how I went from that to this. There is a bakery in New York, I think it might even be a chain in America, called the Magnolia Bakery. and it's one of them with like the big window where you can see them baking the stuff like through the window. And I remember I was like one Saturday afternoon when I was by myself, I was just walking around and I was looking through the window and I thought I could totally be doing that one day.
Could be
like
me.
that could be me.
And now
so
it
I
is.
always say that's where maybe the inspiration came from. But I think I'll just maybe tell myself that because it makes a nice story as well. But yeah, and I do think the going there made me think when I came home, I wanted to be at home as well. So it all works in weird ways, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But no, I think I should probably apologise because I feel like I've spoke about New York for about 20 minutes.
To hear like what you've experienced.
Yeah, 100%. And it has been a big building block for me. Yeah. And it probably is where the confidence stemmed from, I think, to think I could probably do this. Yeah. But yeah, who knows? Like I say, I'm growing all the time with my confidence and stuff. So hopefully we'll just keep learning and keep growing.
Keep blossoming.
That's it, exactly. Keep thriving.
Yeah. For me, I always like have not an out of body experience, not that. But you know, like from the outside looking in, I think how am I running my own business and how
like successfully as well.
How did I get here?
Yeah.
Because I've always struggled with confidence, and it's not as though I'm someone who could be like, yeah, you can do that.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's like I'm looking at myself and the person I want to be, and then how I feel inside just doesn't link up to that. But I can kind of like fake.
Yeah.
It's like if I go out and I see
sort of put on that persona that you actually have like the confidence and the balls.
And when I go to these wedding venues, I don't know, say I'm at like Rockcliffe Hall or something, and I'm walking in, I'm like, hiya, like I'm here to set up this wedding.
I've got myself together.
I feel like I'm almost in a movie.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know, because to be fair, we are very stereotypical, aren't we?
Yeah,
like we watch Devil's Wears Prada and we were like, you were going to be
there was no reason we did journalism.
Yeah, and I feel like the wedding planner.
Yeah.
I must just look at things and think, you know what, I'll give that a go this time. But to be honest, I went to therapy for like a year. I think it might have been the first year into start my own business. And everything that she was saying when she spoke to me was it is a lack of confidence and having that ability to be like, why shouldn't you be in this position to do this? And you have been doing it for a year. It's gone successful and you can do it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I just let the pressure of things get on top of me a bit.
Build up.
Yeah, and 1 minute I might be absolutely fine, and then the next minute I'll be like crumbling. And honestly, I am a nightmare to be around. I don't know if anyone else gets like this, but I just lose my head if I'm stressed and something's bothering me. Someone will say one wrong thing to me and I'll be like,
that you've got all this like pent up frustration and it's like that's your sort of like out, like your release of it almost.
I know, obviously I wouldn't do it at strangers. It's always people around. Like I wouldn't go to a wedding venue and be like, stop talking to me.
Stop throwing everything around the venue.
Trees everywhere.
Candles are going.
That's what I mean. Like I kind of managed to like be this other person, like a professional person.
And then once you're back in the van and the door's shut.
Yeah, it's like I'm like, and like.
But I do feel like that is part of being self-employed as well. Like you always have to have your game face on. Like it's not the same really, but like if I have a really, really busy day here and I'm like chit-chatting to people all day and, you know, looking after all the guys that work here and stuff, I literally get in that car and sometimes I'll drive like an hour and a half with not even the radio on. And you have like a really straight face and it's just like this.
Yeah, I just
and then
need
I get
time
home
to myself.
And I just think like, I don't like want the niceness. Like I just want to be quiet. I don't want to talk. I don't want to small talk. Like I just want quiet.
Yeah, I know. I feel like when you work in an environment where you are always speaking to people and talking to people. I mean, we are doing a podcast where we're speaking and talking to each other now.
Literally.
I feel like it's a bit of a release, isn't it?
Yeah,
when we come here. It's a bit of a therapy session in itself when we're sat talking to each other about what we've been through and the struggles we've faced and how we've overcame them. Like, I feel like it helps me in itself to know that we're not alone.
We're like a little therapy. This is like a therapy session.
It literally is.
And the funniest thing is, when we sit down, we're like, what are we going to talk about?
And then we don't shut up.
And then literally we're like, oh, we spoke too much. I'm like, I need to shut up.
I keep listening back to myself and I'm like, do I really sound like that? I'm so common.
Honestly, I struggle. So what are we, 6 episodes in? I can't listen to it when anyone else is around.
Yeah, but your speaking voice is so, I'm going to speak like you. Yes, so
Yeah, so that's
Are we
awful. So thanks so much. That confidence I've just spoke about is
no,
gone.
it's brilliant.
No,
Mine's
it's
like,
awful.
yeah, we'll
I
be
feel like
going
we
here.
all hate our own voices though.
I know.
Like I think you have a lovely, like soft, gentle voice, and I'm gobby.
No.
Don't shut up. Like
we
like
need
a really
to get over it, don't
brassy.
we? Need
Yeah,
to
we
get
do.
over it.
We do. I mean, we
If
started a
I know
podcast.
we're going to be
like-
talking a lot, hearing our voices a lot.
But yeah, people at home will be thinking, who are you kidding? You've started a podcast, you obviously love what you sound like.
And we're like, oh God,
I hate myself.
I don't want to listen anymore. So next episode.
So we're back.
I love it. Hopefully this builds our confidence in
Yeah,
itself.
absolutely. That's 100%. Like, and I do think we can say that our confidence has grown. Like,
Yeah.
you even said to me earlier, like, you feel like we're in our groove a little bit with it now.
Yeah,
And,
I definitely do.
like, my anxiety's calming a lot. Like, originally on the day that I knew we would be like recording,
Yeah.
I would have anxiety all day and I'd be like
Oh, really?
stressing. Yeah, really panicking.
So I'm more of a person who it's like immediately before I kind of ignore anything that's happening.
Like, pretend
till
it's not happening.
Yeah, till it's happening, and then I
Mhm.
get overwhelmed and like, oh my
Yeah.
God, like it's actually happening.
Yeah.
Like,
No, I know.
really, I should prepare myself beforehand, but it's just me.
I feel like I've like sort of doing the coffee shop, like I have to be like prepared for anything now.
Yes.
So
Anything that comes your way.
yeah, like I was saying to you earlier, wasn't I? And it sort of does link back to the whole like the leadership skills.
Yeah.
Last night, I had my first ever staff meeting. So I'd never done it before.
Ooh.
And I was dreading it. And I thought, like you were saying, like if I all day just pretended it wasn't happening,
Yeah.
I would have genuinely sat there and my mind would have just gone blank. So literally on Tuesday, I think it was, I sat down with my laptop and I was like, right, what am I going to talk about? Like, what are the points that I want to mention?
Yeah.
And I think it's really interesting that I actually did it last night when then we decided on this topic for tonight's episode. Because like I mentioned at the beginning, one of the biggest things I find is sort of that line from having like being a friend to being like in a leadership role.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that's a lot of people in any leadership roles in any industry.
Because you don't want to be that boss that's like,
No.
oh God, they're always nagging at me. Or
Yeah.
they're always.
And it is really hard because we're obviously only super small here. And I think like we spend a lot of time together. So we are all friends and we do all like, you know, we talk about what we had for tea the night before.
Yeah.
So then switching from that,
To come on.
yeah,
Get
to come on then
this.
guys, right, let's get this done. You know,
Yeah.
can you do this? Can you do that? It's really hard. And I think, like I said at the beginning, I'm so cautious of what I come across like. I never want to come across like not very nice because that's not ever why I did this business. Like I would have never done that if I would have never done the business if I thought that's what I was going to be like.
Do you know what my thing is? Like saying to someone, you can have that off and stuff.
Yeah.
When
yeah.
you need them. And I would
Oh,
be
I'm
the
the same.
person to be like, no, it's fine, it's
Yeah.
fine. But then realistically, you need to have that boundary where it's like, no, right, I actually need you this
Yeah.
week, so you can do it. I know, I hate it.
No, I'm exactly the same. So I'll just be like, yeah, that's fine. And then it'll come to like me putting the shifts together and I've screwed myself over. And I'm literally like, great. Like this week, obviously we've got a bank holiday coming up.
I bet you
So
that's hard for you.
Well, I'm just at work every single
Yeah.
day. Which is fine. Like it's my
It's
coffee
fine.
shop. Yeah, gritted teeth. No, like I have such a lovely team and they all, to be honest, they all work their asses off for me. They're amazing. I cannot complain. But I do find it hard sometimes, like I said, just doing that sort of flip between being super friendly and then when you do feel like you maybe have to pick somebody up on something.
And it's with being young, like so young, and
Yeah,
doing that. But
100%.
at the end of the day, if we're paying people, like they should respect that anyways.
Yeah.
And I always find with my own experience in working in retail, if you have a nice boss, you're more willing to help them out
Yeah.
and give something back to them. Whereas
Yeah.
if someone's not very nice, you just think, I'm not staying back for you and
Why
working
would
that
I?
extra
Yeah.
shift
Why
when
should I?
you're like you make me feel
Mm.
awful or you're not very
One
nice
thing
to me. or
I
whatever.
don't know about because like it's just how it's sort of fallen.
Yeah.
I do have quite a young team. So, you know, like you were saying, like with us being young, like I don't know how the dynamic would work if I did have a
People
lot of older
older.
because I can't imagine that I would like it if
Mm.
I was a little bit older and there was this young girl that they probably think that I think
See, to
I
like the
think I
people who
know
work
everything.
for you, you're a granny.
Oh, yeah. Honestly, they'll talk about things. I remember the other week, I had to ask one of the girls, I was like, how are people taking these photos? You know, like it was that thing where everyone was taking the photos with like their front camera.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, someone's going to have to show me. And then I literally said afterwards, I was like, is this me getting old?
Oh, no.
I said, I feel like my mum when she asks me things, not that my mum's old, but you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Like I was like, I'm a bit out of touch with this.
My
So-
mum thinks I know everything. She'd be like, oh, come here. This has happened, and how do I export this to this? And I'm like, I have no idea.
I love that.
I do
See,
not
my
have a
mum's
clue.
actually probably a bit more tech savvy than
Yeah.
me these days. She's on her iPad more than anything,
Yeah.
that woman.
With the flip phone case.
Yes, she is.
Does she have
And even has a mirror.
Yeah. You're
She
not
loves
a
it.
mum if you don't have a flip phone case.
Honestly.
Subscribe. But we've nearly got 1,000 followers.
We
Which is
have,
really good.
yeah,
5
we have.
episodes in. That's so good, Abby.
Absolutely. We just want to keep going, don't we?
Yeah. Get over that stage of like,
Yeah.
oh, it's embarrassing or whatever.
I feel like I am a little bit over the embarrassment.
Yeah.
Like at the beginning, I really found it embarrassing. I will openly admit. I was like, this is mortifying.
Yeah.
But now I think actually, I just think people know now. It's out there,
Yeah.
so it's not actually embarrassing anymore. I'm sure people have, you know, if anyone's going to have had a comment, they're going to have had it now. So
Exactly. No one's going to say it to us, are they?
it's one of the things like what you don't know can't hurt you. I'd
Yeah.
rather not know.
Yeah.
Honestly, like I'm fine with that. I'm absolutely fine with it.
We'd actually like die if someone said to us, wouldn't we?
Yeah. Oh god, it's happened.
Well, you had a fan.
No, not me.
No.
It wasn't me.
We love it, don't we? Whenever someone messages.
Yeah,
We're like,
that's
"Oh,
when it
that's
still feels
amazing."
really
It
surreal.
does.
Like you said, if people do message and they're like, oh, we really love it, or like we've
Yeah.
had some really lovely messages, haven't we, where people have
Really
been like, we
lovely.
really resonated with the episode.
Let's have a day.
Yeah, because we just, honestly, we do literally think that we sit here waffling on.
Yeah.
I mean, we are.
We
aren't
are.
Let's be honest. I've waffled about New York for the good episode.
But
really.
soon we're going to be getting some guests, which is
We
exciting.
are. Yeah, we're so
and-
excited for that.
Yeah,
aren't
we are so exciting. We keep saying like this is just a bit of like a portfolio builder.
Yeah,
To get,
absolutely.
forget you to get to know us.
Yeah. And we just do want to be really transparent, don't we? Like,
Yes.
we're not pretending that we are.
Professionals.
Yeah, and like we've got all of these businesses, like we haven't.
Yeah.
We've just got 2 small businesses that we're trying to get off the ground, and we just thought, let's just give it a shot, didn't we, really?
Yeah, and we're loving it, aren't we?
We are.
Should we go on to our favourite part?
Absolutely. And I feel like it's probably everyone else's favourite part. Because
Yeah.
they were like wrapping
Wrapping
up.
up, you know, when we go to chair.
Yes.
And the say masses ended going beast.
Yeah.
And when I don't know. Really sorry.
Well, I didn't know that was exactly what happened.
Yeah. I'm a churchgoer. And then read, like when you were younger, you'd be like, yeah, I feel like that's what it's like. It's not like that.
That's
I
a
don't know why.
Yeah, sorry. Okay.
So, this week's business confession, I love this because I'm sure everyone can relate to this
Yeah,
one.
absolutely. As soon as I saw it, I was like,
You have to
100%.
have done this before. So they've said, if I answer a sales call and they ask for me, I pretend I'm a different person and say, sorry, they're not available.
Honestly, as soon as I read that on Instagram, I was like, that is so funny because
Yeah.
I do the exact same thing. Like,
Well, this is a confession.
I feel like like you said, like everybody does do that at some point now. Like,
Yeah.
I've definitely heard my mum do that. I mean, the house phone.
Yeah, like, no, sorry. we can't
Honestly,
do
since having the coffee shop, I made the biggest mistake when I first started the coffee shop by putting my personal mobile number on Google underneath the coffee shop. So you can imagine the amount of calls I got, you know, when like you're starting up
Yeah.
and all these like energy companies, suppliers, everything, were obviously trying to get you to go with them. And still now, so I have learnt my lesson and I've deleted the number of Google, but still now I'll get calls and they'll be like, you know, we're calling from blah blah in Manchester or whatever, and they'll be like, can we speak to Sophie? Like, we'd really love to, or can we speak to the manager? I get a lot. We'd really love to discuss like working with you. And I always just go, oh sorry, she's not available at the moment.
I think it just pretends. It depends on what mood I'm in. So if I'm feeling anxious and someone rings me, I'm like, I'm not answering it, and then like,
Yeah.
I'll be like, well, maybe it's a client. I'll
Yeah,
check
then
it.
I get worried. I
Yeah.
think if I don't answer it, then I try and Google the number because I'm
Yeah.
like, what if it was important?
And what if it's a scam?
Yeah, yeah.
My mum and dad got scammed a
Oh.
couple of months. I know, really sad.
That is sad.
I know.
One of my friends
They were
once got
going through a
scammed
lot
out of
as well
thousands of pounds.
at the time. Yeah, it was a lot of money, and they were going through a lot at the time. That was so sad.
Just like that breaks my
know, do you?
heart. No.
And when they come up, you're like,
They're getting worse, aren't
I'm
they?
so clever as well with how they know all your details and things.
Yeah.
Really bad. But that's why a lot of the time I don't like answering.
Yeah, I know.
Because I think
I
am
do
good.
always Google the number, but sometimes it doesn't come up, does it? Like
Yeah.
it'll just say like, match not found or something. But
I'm so gullible as well.
I wish I could almost do that in person though, because obviously in the coffee shop I only have like the space behind the counter.
Yeah.
So people will just come in with like products and they'll be like trying to get you to sell and stock their stuff.
Yeah.
And they'll always be like, you know, is the manager here? And I can just feel my body like I'm like kind of just like squat and say no. Like,
She's not in today.
but it's one of the things.
Name badge, so big. And they're like, we know you're lying.
Yeah, exactly.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I love it when like I'm not in and someone will, like one of the guys will message me like, oh, this person's coming to see you and obviously you're not here.
Yeah.
Phew.
I'll hide downstairs.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. But no, that was I love that little business confession.
Yeah. Let us know if you've ever done anything like that.
Yeah,
And
make us
still-
feel better because
Yeah.
then we know we're not out there alone.
And if you've got a business confession that you want to send in, you might be on next week's episode.
Yeah.
We love
They're so
hearing them,
funny
and
to
they're so
read.
relatable.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's
And they don't have to be, you don't have to have a business to do it. Like,
No, definitely
we've all,
not.
like, you know,
Got a job
anything
or
for
a
jobs,
career, a sport,
school,
anything.
uni,
Yeah.
anything.
We want to know. So, I think that wraps up episode 5.
I think so. Was it not episode 6?
Oh, I'm going backwards, not forwards. Episode 6. Sorry, everyone.
Okay, perfect.
So, here's to
Episode 7.